The views and opinions expressed on this show by its guests are not necessarily those of Lounge Media Group or the show host. So if you sue someone, make sure it's the party responsible for hurting your feelings. Also, grow up, be an adult, and understand not everyone thinks like you. And that's okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Match 2025 Lounge. We've done some walking around, we've seen some beautiful trucks, met some amazing people, but we're not quite done yet. And I'm sure you see Officer Smith down here at the end. We're not going to jail, not just yet, but we're going to talk about some things with him. And you see, we got our buddy Rob Carpenter in the house today. How are y'all doing? And we got a state trooper, so we don't have a truck here, so we're good. And we're just right across from the keeping an eye on us.
And Rob, how fortunate we are. We've got Rob out almost past dinner time.
All right, it's like bedtime. I got a thing to do across the hall. And I don't know.
Oh, that would be good. How's Mid American Truck Show going out Northeast so far, Rob?
It's good. It's a lot more people here than last year. I didn't get a chance to come out here last year. So it was this is my it's like a World Series. Yeah. It seems to be a lot of hopefully a lot of answers in the beginning. Well, one good thing about it, I just told Brandon, I was like, we need one of these brake systems to plug out over here. First shot, first shot. They're bringing it out. I went down there to get the front and they started. And I'm back later. What's wrong? That's exactly right. I'm excited. Yeah, but yeah, well, our customers did that. We got a lot of people that bring it's a good thing still up. Oh yeah. Too much. Rob drove too. I drove. I think a lot of people missed. You got the two. How many people? It's just enough to make you. And then you get out of that regular way, and then you get You'd be surprised how many drivers. In your face, therefore. Keep things opposite. I mean, some people think that's so. So we get the pulling me over, and I don't. Laughing about it. Yeah. And then subject of pulling people over for doing random inspections. You've been doing this obviously a while. What do you feel about the way the levels of trucks are now versus how they used to be? As far as the way they're maintained, taking care of, kind of stuff. So, you feel companies, they're being real lax with it, and the quality of equipment out there has maybe gone down a little bit over the years.
Criteria that you got inspected. So, yeah.
Well, I think going back to what you said initially, the DVR is the big piece. I mean, because if you look at a fleet, communication is key. Just like if you talk about trucks, fleet communicating in a cordial manner and articulating what you want and articulating how I operate is key. Just like in a regular fleet, you've got that same path of communication where you've got the driver with the DVR who has a frontline visibility every day, telling you who might be in Idaho, who might not see it every 3 months, hey,
right.
I have this defect and I need it fixed. I need it repaired, and you can't dispatch it until it's fixed.
Right.
But I think that line of communication, without that, you really don't have a preventive maintenance program, at least not a good one.
You know, and a lot of, because the federal guideline says you have to do a pre-trip inspection, right?
Right.
They don't say a post-trip inspection, right? But, we always, being the PAO, we try to give that little bit of nuance. Like, it's always good to do that little extra. So if you're, especially for those box truck guys,
Right.
they pull up and then they back in and they load them up for the next day and they come out and they're leaking oil or they got a flat tire because they didn't go around it and see, oh, we got a nail or an obstruction underneath somewhere. So yeah, there's just, it's that viable thing. But, I think for any company that grows, it's kind of a learning process.
Yes.
For 'em. And it's just up to, we're the extension with the law enforcement side of it, with the enforcement side. It all really boils down to it's just you're double sure, making sure that everybody's safe on the road and everybody on the road is safe while he's walking.
Yeah.
Well, Trooper Smith, we're going to get some of the other guests on here, but you have some things that you wanted to talk about, correct? There's some things y'all have going on here.
So Kentucky has a couple things going on this month. We got the CARE, which is the CARE program, which is a crash reduction for accidents, accident crash reductions. We have 6 state troopers coming up. I put my super 55-year-old spectacles on here and get this bring up here for you. Gotta love modern technology, right? So we did a press release here. So Operation CARE and 6 state troopers is the project that we have. You guys heard of those before? So 6 state troopers and Operation CARE kind of go hand in hand, and it's the surrounding states that we call it. So it's Ohio, Illinois, we got Tennessee, and we're just looking for cars as well as trucks. And of course, on my side, I the truck portion. It is just during the holidays are coming up, the summer months, spring. And it will be actually all the way through April. Starts April the 1st, it ends on April the 8th. That'll be 2025, of course. And it's basically when we get the holiday seasons coming up, the holiday driving. We're out there looking at that. And then we have a new one that I just read into it. And you guys have like this one. It's, you know how they always come up with different slogans: drive sober, get pulled over?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm going to share one with you here that somebody sent me an email. Let's see if I can pull this off. So we got put the phone away or pay. and that is actually exactly what it is, distracted driving. That seems to be a very big issue out on the road. Truckers are basically almost a 1-to-1 ratio on the road almost this day with cars. And it's trying to get the civilian side population to understand that there's a truck out there with you and they just need the room and need the opportunity to have a safe passage. But that is the big thing that we're actually looking at when it comes to that care and 6-day project. So it's something we take serious. We do put a lot of trucks out of service at the time, but again, it's all about safety. I always thinking about it is, if my mom's driving down the road with the vehicle, would I feel safe for her to be for my
Yeah.
my wife?
I mean, for trucks, a lot of it goes to highway accident litigation, and you got AI cameras in trucks now that can tell you if your drivers are using the phone. But
Absolutely.
it's a huge initiative. I think for trucks, you've got better visibility of the fleet. Say, hey, my guy's on the phone. We need to coach, train, or discipline. But then you've got people like you guys. You don't get the visibility in the cab of everything, so you have to actually catch them.
You do.
So-
And it's the old cat and mouse game.
Yep.
The interstate. As you find that little place where you can sit and just wait with that radar to sit just right over the hilltop, and then they come over there and you see the look on their face. They're like, "Yeah, you got it." So it's that, yeah, and that is a big thing too. It's you're actually looking for safety because we're actually paying attention to cars just as well. We have TAC out there, which is targeted aggressive trucks. So we're looking at that. So we're trying to focus on as many cars as we can to trucks. But the trucks are the heavyweights, the heavy hitters on the roadway. And unfortunately, when they wreck hard.
Yeah.
And we're now into high crash corridors. So Kentucky has designated high crash corridors. And so that is something that was not there that's there now. We're looking into it, and that's unfortunate it is. But yeah. So these are the things to look out for this April. Hopefully that when you do get stopped, it's a pleasant one, because some will be random, but some will be enforcement. I have noticed that around this time frame, we do get a lot of calls come out on the radio. It's that be on the lookout for. We have the truck just past the 60-mile mark and it's swaying all over the road. That's something I hear a little more of these days than I used to. Just as a car, right? Cars are reckless. Or got a speeder. Now it's a truck. It's all over the road. It's you got a red trailer on the back with a plate, noise plate or something. Not anything obviously, or a main plate or something that matter. But being on the lookout, it's just one of these things that you're hearing. It's more common.
The driver persona has changed a lot. So, I mean, I call it like the pre-2005 driver and the post-2005 driver is a lot different.
I would not disagree with you. The days of that professional trucker, I'm 55, so I'm dating myself, right? I don't mind telling you. I remember growing up, and they had the Wrangler jeans that had the pleats in the front, wearing the cowboy boots and hat, the big belt buckle, right?
Yeah.
Yep, there you go. And they consider themselves professional truckers. You don't see that. You got a mixed crowd. I remember I stopped one at the scale facility, which came for just a random inspection. But I noticed that she was isolated. I mean, she would see over the steering wheel a little bit, but then she would sink back down in the seat. So if she was coming across, I was like, "Oh, what that's all about." She's kind of relaxing or let her get back up. She actually had a big question on her, and she was driving a dump truck, and it was a female, and it took her to get over that steering wheel. Right now, women can do just as anything as a guy can do, correct? So I talked to her a little bit, and I said, "What was you did? What were you doing before you showed us?" I was like, "Wow." So The world of truck driving has changed.
It has.
You know, and it's more obvious every day. And the more you're out there, the more you stop trucks. You're seeing the change. What do you call it? The status of the drivers.
Yeah.
You know, and you see a lot more female drivers, and it's not female drivers have a little bit more attention oriented. I can tell you that. When I got it, they actually come out of the truck and they're looking at what I'm looking at. So, yeah, I saw that and I fixed that and I made sure of that, So it reminds me of my wife saying, I just cleaned up the floor, so I don't want to see any crumbs on it.
Don't tell me what I already know.
Yeah, where they're tenacious, So it's a little different. So, but
Well, Rob, what about you? You got anything you want to end before we bring on Mr. Neal and Evan? And we're going to talk a little bit about truck parking.
I think the only thing I would add goes back to the distracted driving piece. April is National Safety Council's Defensive Driving Month, so that's a big focus for a lot of other people, not just Kentucky. So it's a huge problem, and it's not just for cars; it's trucks, and it can affect. Highway accident litigation can affect your rating and your ability to get insurance, like from UCI behind us over here. So anyway, it's a big consideration. So,
well, appreciate you coming on, brother.
Yeah, man.
Trooper Smith, do you have anything you want to
just
say?
one
before
more.
we go?
Just one more enforcement campaign that was coming up. That's the M&M Blitz. Have you guys heard that?
No.
So M&M Blitz stands for March May, and it's the IFTA.
yeah,
So you guys that don't have those IFTAs on your car, on your trucks, better be out there because we'll be looking for that. Because that's their month, right? M&M, right? So the March and the May. So that's what they're looking for. So they're expecting everybody to have them on there. And be on both sides of the street. So, but thank you for having me out here.
No, thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you for coming on. We appreciate it very much. Have yourself a good one.
I will. And we got some stuff going on over here, too.
Fine,
So,
yes.
yeah. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
All righty. Well, all you drivers out there, I hope you wrote down those dates for the upcoming events by wonderful Troopers of the Highway Patrolling. So we got Mr. Evan Shelley from Truck Parking Club and Mr. Neal Green, Freight Ninja. Hey, Charles, do you know that truck parking is not just one single issue?
No, I did. Yeah.
There's way more solutions.
Oh, I do. There is. There are a multitude of solutions to the truck parking, problem. And that's what we're talking about right here.
Things are getting serious.
I know. Look at
Things are
that.
getting serious, man.
Yeah.
All righty. All right, gentlemen, remember to speak nice and close to the mic so the good people out there can hear you. Mr. Shelley, how in the hell you been, sir?
What's up? What's going on?
Hey, man, that boot's looking pretty snazzy over there. Looks like y'all having some fun.
Appreciate it, man.
Yeah,
How am I doing on the audio?
you just sound pretty good, man.
Yeah,
I
man.
You're definitely a radio guy. Coming in from Smooth Jazz. Mr. Neal, how about yourself? What you thinking about Matt so far? How's
Doing
the
well. It's going well.
Love it. Love it. Well, gentlemen, we appreciate y'all hopping on here. And I think we're here to spread the good word of truck parking and, how Truck Parking Club and how Freight Ninja do their things and, how y'all work together and how this is more solving a problem than rather it being any rivalries.
Yeah, for sure. You want to?
You go ahead.
Yeah.
I'd like to hear from you. Your
Yeah,
side.
Let's go. So, just talking with Dan, we've been working with Freight Ninja. I don't know, 18 months now, maybe. Working with them on their lots, watching them grow as we grow right along them. I mean, the clear differentiators is Freight Ninja is a truck parking operator. We're a truck parking marketplace. So people can book Freight Ninja locations from Truck Parking Club. But Freight Ninja, you can also book through Freight Ninja. And we work very nicely together, just like a hotel or a booking.com,
Right.
something of that nature. We push more demand to them. So the more money we make them, the more money they make, and we all work well together.
Absolutely. And you're creating solutions there that
Yeah,
weren't there
absolutely.
before.
Absolutely.
Well, I like you always say, Evan, you marketplace is what you bring. You know what I mean? And there's Freight Ninjas out there, and a lot of them, a big problem that they have is just like any other business. It's advertising, getting the word out there. You know what I mean? Like getting it to as many places in front of as many eyes as you can. Because you can only be on so many billboards, you can only buy so many TV ads and stuff like that. So why not have another company such as Truck Parking Club that you put your plant your property on, and basically, have you guys pay to do all the advertising for all these locations as well.
Yeah, I think how we think about it at High Tide raises all boats. We work with drivers and carriers all across the U.S. that may be going through Chicago, maybe going through the Freight Ninja markets, that maybe Freight Ninja's advertising doesn't catch. We're kind of that net that helps catch them, push demand to them that they may not get otherwise. And we make sure that all the drivers that book through us, that go to Freight Ninja, have a great experience. So we want to make sure that we're working with property members. So property members and our trucker members both have great experiences working with one another.
Absolutely. So both of y'all are obviously growing Freight Ninja and Truck Parking Club alike. You guys are expanding rapidly. It's like wildfire. It's catching on. Obviously there's some bumps along the way. Shout out to you, Evan, for taking. Yeah, absolutely. But so, what are some of the strategies you guys are taking? What are you looking for? What are the drivers saying, and what solutions you guys bringing here, right now and in the future?
Yeah. So I mean, it's for us. Fortunately, where we are in a lot of the markets. Shows are huge for us. Social media is huge for us because we're able to cast this really wide net for drivers on the West Coast, the East Coast, maybe they're OTR. And we have solutions for them in any of those markets. And the more drivers we catch in that net, it's better for everybody, including Freight Ninja, including anyone on the marketplace. We push more demand to them. So it's just trying to be in front of drivers at all times, no matter if you're in Washington State, Washington, D.C., Atlanta, Georgia, Chicago, doesn't really matter to us. It matters that we deliver great experiences to drivers that book through us, and we have great locations like Freight Ninja locations to push to get them safely parked.
Absolutely. Neil, what's going on down there, brother?
Nothing. No, I agree, and we could be happy with how things are going with some of our specific yards, and how we're able to get some tenants from on our end. Some Truck Parking Club and vice versa of really trying to do as much as we can to get our name out there, and again through the marketplace of Truck Parking Club, and then also doing our own thing with social media, emails. I think it's been a good partnership so far with some of our locations, and we're all trying to solve the same issue here is to get some truck parking.
Yeah, and absolutely here, it's awesome to see you guys boots on the ground, talking to drivers, talking to truck operators, owners, company owners, listening to the people, getting it out there, not hiding behind some, because obviously there are drivers out there that do not like truck parking, but they're offering valid solutions. I mean, that's what I've been told. I don't know. I think I read it in a book somewhere, but it is important. I think people are starting to really come around to that. If it's not for you, then go park on the side of the street.
Yeah, and I want to comment. So we like to think less about paid parking as like something that a driver's forced to do, and more about an option, a tool in their toolbox to make them more efficient and productive in the things they do every day, right? One of the driver's biggest stresses every single day is finding parking. If we can be that tool to help them be more productive, get another hour, 2 hours down the road and know where they're going to park, that's a big win, even if they're paying $20 for that spot, even if they're paying a couple $100 for that monthly spot. If they can leverage it to do their business better, it's actually a savings when you look at the bottom line.
Absolutely.
And I think to add to that too, where we're providing from our end a safe, secure lot where they're getting the right amenities, they're getting lights, they're getting perimeter fencing, like they're paying for that security, so their assets are going to be protected. Yeah, okay, criminals are going to be criminals, they're going to be able to get in there, but I think from our end, the security and protection that we provide is it's going to cost.
For sure. And you can find that on Truck Parking Club as well. And that's what good partnerships are all about, boy. But I know we got some more people coming up here. Pedro, do you have anything before we get the exiting comments from these wonderful gentlemen?
No, man. I think we just wanted to bring both of them on and let let everyone understand and hear the difference between the two business models, but B, why we do need the paid truck parking, and it's here to stay, regardless of what anyone wants. That's just where it's going to go. Let's all be honest. Most truck stops are places most drivers don't want to be sleeping overnight anyway. I haven't been on the road since 2018, and even then, half the truck stops out there, they're disgusting. They smelled like feces and urine, and people knocking on your door all the time, and even if you go to a truck stop, you are most likely going to spend $20 or more while you're there anyway,
That's right.
getting something. You know,
I can't even walk into the Loves without leaving with a pair of flip flops in the back scratcher. Okay.
Yeah, nothing against truck stops in general, but another thing that's not really talked about is how many truck stops are secure. Truly.
Yeah.
How many of them have a perimeter fence?
Not many.
How many of them have access control? So it's just a different product too.
Right.
You got a high value load, go to a Freight Ninja location, right? If you got an empty dry van, maybe you can put that in an open lot. If you have a low value load, perhaps you can park at a truck stop if you can find a space. Right. So there's different things for all these all needs.
I like what you had said about it being a tool in their toolbox. You know, because I also think and this is where the property owners like Freight Ninja come into place is it allows companies to grow too, because buying equipment is expensive. But when you buy equipment, you got to have a place to put equipment. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of carriers, that may be something that stops them from buying more equipment, is not having the building or a place to store that stuff too. So, I think that's just another way that the truck parking can be, something that benefits the carrier. I mean, it really can. It can be of real value to them beyond just the nightly parking of the truck. It can be there as the business continues to grow. And so,
yeah. And I just want to say I've enjoyed watching you guys grow as well,
Kevin.
alongside us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, man, it's been cool.
And we're just getting started.
Yeah.
And that's the crazy
We're
part about
just
it, man.
getting started.
You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. Well, fellas, we appreciate y'all hopping on. Thanks again for putting us underneath this wonderful house again, man. It's been awesome. And yeah. Excited,
Let's go.
excited for tonight. What y'all got going on tonight?
I think Freight Movement, right?
Oh yeah. All right. Where is that at? Anybody watching?
Tavern.
4th Street.
Tavern.
4th Street.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tavern on 4th Street.
Go up.
Tavern on 4th Street.
All right. Who we got on next, Miss Pedro?
Mr. I think we're bringing on Mr. Gore.
Gordy Lock.
Yeah, Gordy Locks. Yeah. Voice of Gore.
She
Oh.
doesn't sing that.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
We'll bring Jessica on
Oh, yeah.
for Gord and Jessica.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
You know one.
Okay.
Me? Or you? Oh, you. Oh, okay. Are we on like a cut?
No,
Still live?
no,
We're just listening to the wonderful sounds of Matt.
yeah. The Mets, that's hold music.
There we go.
Check.
Testing 1, 2, 3.
Can you hear me?
All right. Yeah, we can. How's it going?
How's the voice of Gord coming through?
Just coming through.
powerful
Is
as
that that exquisite gravelly baritone you've all come to know and love?
It is. Absolutely.
I'm definitely gonna buy the audiobook. Are you the one reading your own audiobook that's coming out here soon?
I may be. There's talk about myself doing it or my buddy Andy, who also has quite the unique voice.
I don't know. I think 7 hours of Gord telling his
Oh,
story.
yeah.
I would love it.
I want people to finish the book. I want them to actually get through it.
Well, while we're talking about the book, let's just keep talking about it. Gord. I mean, that's one of the reasons you wanted to come on here and on the show today. So, what book are we speaking of?
So I'm in the process of writing a book. It's called tentatively titled "End of the Road: Inside the War on Truckers," and it's going to be a survey of what has become of the American truck driver in 2025. As you know, many people like to lay the blame for what's happened to the industry at the feet of the deregulation in 1980. I'm not going to argue for or against that point, but I'm merely going to say that was only the tip of the iceberg, and there's been so much other stuff going on. As with many areas of life, there's many factors that have affected trucking. You guys know this, and the audience, obviously, I want to, like my podcast, the book is sort of a gift to my fellow drivers, but it's also going to be like for the normies that don't know anything about trucking, because I don't want them to like not. I want people to understand the sort of deeper things going on behind the scenes of trucking, economic forces, bad policy choices.
Yeah.
In part, it's going to be a way to part of my project with my podcast and my other writing is to, advocate for better policies through the government. Like I work for a think tank in DC, and it's difficult to get brought to like Congress or a committee if you don't have like a key, right? So one of the keys is like you're considered an expert, like if you've written a book on something. So if I'm able to write this book, then, I can work with these guys in DC, and then I can get in front of a transportation committee and be like, look, y'all are doing this wrong. You need to stop doing that, adjust this, and things will be better, right? And like the book will be in part making various cases. Each chapter will start with a personal story from my own trucking career or those of my friends. And then in that story, we'll talk about the issue in trucking that made that story come to be. And then I'll go to the work of others, the various academics who've like studied the business, like, Karen Levy with her book on the surveillance technology, data driven, Michael Belzer, who wrote the first book about like the economic effects of deregulation on truck drivers. So like each chapter will go deep on a particular issue, but it will also have a human story, either from my own career or those of my friends. I'm going to have a chapter just on trucks themselves and how like emission control mandates and technology impositions. I'm going to do a chapter on truck stops and sort of like, the wider culture of trucking. And I'm going to try and cover a lot of bases in this book. It's going to be like well over 200 pages.
Excellent. Which chapter do you think is going to be driven the most from your heart? What you feel is the most deeply rooted issue with the drivers today? Because obviously you have something to say for the drivers.
I hate to say all of them, but like every ounce of that book is going to come from the heart. The one chapter I'm wrapping up right now is about training, right? So we have this very hot issue right now with like in-source labor and people who haven't been trained. And, we figured out that the Biden administration was doing some dirty business to like hand out CDLs to people that don't know what they're doing. So I'm doing a chapter right now on training. And I started off with this story about how I picked up these hitchhikers when I was trucking in Australia. These guys that are like, they have this costume that's called the Wunderschafte. Like there's the idea of a journeyman as a tradesperson and apprenticeships comes from these Bavarian carpenters, and there are guys that still practice that to this day. And I picked up 3 of them hitchhiking in Australia, and they rode with me for a couple days. So I'm going to use that as a springboard. I'm telling the story of picking these guys up and hanging out with them, and them telling me about how their apprenticeship system works and the sort of hundreds-year-old guild system that kind of like it controls that trade and sets the standards for training and standards for skills, and how we could use something like that in trucking.
I love that. So you're gonna be telling, like from your side. It's not like just some dude writing a book. It is the Gordon McGill.
Yeah, it's got what's a book if it's got no soul? It's just an instruction manual or advertising, right?
I love that. I love that.
Yeah. So, what's your name, darling?
Jessica.
Hey, Jessica, nice to meet you.
Yeah, United Commercial Insurance. I write commercial trucking insurance.
Right.
Like you, I've not been a driver, but my whole family's been in trucking.
Right.
And so that's why I do what I do. And I try to find the best fit, because not all trucking is the same.
No,
it all is one word, but there's very different letters.
The trucking industry is diverse in the truest sense of the word. You've got the diversity of geography all across North America, the diversity of industries we serve,
Absolutely.
the different people in those industries, like the people that drive the trucks. Trucking is literally probably the most diverse industry
Absolutely.
in the country.
Absolutely. And somebody that understands that and asks the right questions, that's what I try to do, to just find the best fit. And also just be a good person, be a good agent. That's the worst thing. You show up to a job and you can't get a certificate of insurance, right?
Right.
And what happens when it throws off your whole load for the week, your whole run? How much money are you out?
And there's some crazy stuff going on with the insurance industry. Like you're an agent, but like the insurers, the big insurers have got all these like crazy requirements and stuff now.
Absolutely.
And I was talking to Jamie Hagan about this the other day. Like one of his former colleagues tried to get on with the carrier, but because the work he'd been doing didn't involve pulling a trailer, the insurance company basically erased all of his many decades of experience as if it didn't matter.
Yes.
There's just this crazy stuff going on with insurance, and I don't understand.
Yeah, that's my job to understand and try to find the best fit, because some companies, you're right, the insurers, and we're a brokerage, so we have, I think, all but 3 of the top people out there. So we're going to shop you in 25 markets and show, they're all A-rated. I do pride, we pride ourselves on service to the actual customer truckers,
Right.
And that's what we do, is we find that best fit, because is that a good fit for him? If that's, that guy's got decades of experience. Why can he not be behind the wheel on that policy? Is that the best policy for Jamie Hagan? That's a question for him to answer for himself. I do spur those questions. Is there a better one out there, or the equivalent out there that allows for that guy? Because he does have those decades, right?
Right. I'd love to get a meeting with the actuarial nerds behind the big insurers to figure out what the hell they're thinking about.
Have they ever driven a truck?
Yeah, probably not.
That's my question. I don't know the answer.
Yeah. No, I'm going to start another chapter of my book about hiring. So I had been to Australia and I was driving road trains, and I'd been overseas for a couple of years. And then I go and apply for this company in Syracuse, and they look at my resume and they're like, "What have you been doing?" Well, I was in Australia. Well, how come you weren't working? No, I was working. I was in Australia, and I was dealing with this sort of HR guy that had no idea what I was talking about. And he gave me a hard time, and I almost didn't get hired. And he hung the phone up on me because I said to him, I said, "You do understand I was still working. I was just working in another country." And he got all pissy with me and hung up the phone. So I called back and I said, "Dude, I'm not trying to give you a hard time. I'm trying to understand what the problem is here." And he says, "Well, hold on. Let me get the boss." He puts me through to the president of the company. He looks at all these photos I'd sent of stuff I've driven in Australia and Canada. And he's like, "Call that guy back. We want him."
Yes.
But when you deal with the HR and insurance people, they don't know.
They don't have any idea.
Right.
And so that's, I grew up in the truck with my dad.
Right.
So I do have an idea. And I guess that's where I try to fit in and just make it all fit together in the best fit possible. Because you're right. Not all of them understand it, but that president did.
Yeah.
But the HR guy
Well,
had no
because
clue.
he drove. He grew up in the company.
Right.
He actually drove truck.
Yes. I mean, I haven't drove the trucks, but I have been in them my whole life. And my grandpa, and I've got tons of family. And I really, what I do, and I fit with the company I fit with, which is United Commercial Insurance. They are right behind me. I just got a shout out at least once, okay? But I fit with them because we've all have connections with truly truckers, either in our family or friends, or it's themselves. And so we have that understanding of both sides. Because I think you truly have to understand what it's like to be in the driver's seat, or at least in the passenger seat.
Yeah, well, I've
to know what
some
they're going through.
experience the day-to-day and the adversity you face on the road, adversity you have with customers, all of the many things that affect a trucker's day-to-day life. We all like to complain that the people in charge usually haven't done any of that stuff, right? And I imagine it's the same with insurance.
It is.
So, Hunter, what are you saying down there, buddy?
I'm just listening all talk. I'm excited for this book, man. But Jessica,
I'm stoked for this book too. I'm like, give me a copy of that book. I'm gonna pass it out to everybody I have in my book of business. I'm not even
thanks.
joking.
I appreciate that.
If you ever have insurance questions and you need it answered,
I do want to dig deep. I need to find some actuarial people behind the big insurers to figure out what the heck they're doing, because clearly there's something wrong in the insurance market where they prefer people that just got out of the CDL mill to people that have got 25 years of experience.
I'm quite the opposite.
I know you are.
I'm like, oh no.
But I do.
We've got some other girls
have
back there that are happy
experience
to
with
do it.
this, right? So.
Yeah, no, we'll get Jessica. Well, you're the perfect candidate for that. You just start asking the questions, and then
I might be able to connect some things for you. So if you do have anything, let me know. I'll hook you. We might be able to get some insurance behind that.
Right.
Well,
So-
they do.
Pedro, what are you saying, brother? This is your show. Why am I playing host?
No, Gord, that's why we like bringing you on the show, because Hunter and I can just sit back and listen. We know Gord's got plenty to say, man. And I'm just like Jessica said, I'm excited for the book, man.
Yeah.
You need to get signed up for Gord's letter too.
My Substack, yeah.
I might be. I might be in it.
It's-
I don't know. I'm not.
AutonomousTruckers.substack.com. I'll get your card. I'll sign you up for you. You don't
Okay.
even have to do it. I'll
Oh,
take
yeah.
care of it for you.
Even got to get a signature.
Yeah.
I'll be up in your inbox a couple times a week.
That's fine. That's
It's
fine.
good stuff. It's great. It's for good stuff. It's great.
There's some spicy shit in there. Every once in a while, I
like
lose
spice.
subscribers.
Oh, we might gain some subscribers on that spice.
All right, hey, but we're gonna move on to the other our next guest here in a minute.
Okay. I got a couple customers that we're supposed to have in the seat.
Okay, well, I need to get to them. So
Okay.
who wants to have on the seat?
We got Steve over here with Cleve's Logistics. I also have HB Freight over here.
Oh.
They just have a little bit of a story. If you have a couple minutes.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. All right, couple.
All right, thanks for having me on,
Yeah,
boys.
Gordon,
All
we'll
right,
see you tonight, Gordon.
keep on
Hey,
trucking.
you're coming to the tavern, right?
I think so.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Awesome. Okay. Cool. Story time. Let's go. Blame Jessica. She did the show.
I'm gonna
Jessica's
blame.
fault.
They blame me. I was
Jessica's
supposed to have them both. They were supposed
Yeah.
to
So
know.
it's not even our
This
show
is all
anymore.
my fault.
Hunter
All right,
it
so
was just
allowed
that's
to
what
take
needs
over.
to hear better. I don't know if Ashley wants it or if Walter wants it.
Oh, does this one work?
Yes, sir.
They both should. Yes.
And I can hear just fine. So
Okay.
I'm loud. Just speaking to the mic, right?
Yeah, just talking to the
Yeah.
microphone. Just
Turn?
like the radio.
Can you hear us?
Oh, yeah.
Yep. There you go.
How y'all doing today?
Oh, we're doing fine. How about yourself?
I'm doing
We're doing
wonderful.
great. Why don't you introduce yourselves? Tell us what brings you to Matt's.
Okay, we're Walter and Ashley Brewer. We are HB Freight Logistics. We're based out of Lawrenceville, Georgia. Is
Okay.
there anything
What
you want to
brings
add?
us to Max? We are here from our amazing insurance agent, Jessica. Jessica actually invited us out, and she's been a game changer for our business. Like, so when she gave us the invite, we dropped everything and we came on out here.
Oh yeah.
So how has Jessica been a game changer with y'all? How did she help you guys? I know it had obviously
take
be
it.
insurance, but let us know.
I'm gonna let you take
Okay.
it. Take it, girl.
So when we first got started, we got started with a family member. He referred us to the business, and let's just say he had some numbers to present, but he didn't look at the overhead. You know, so we got in the game. Yeah, they weren't very realistic at all. So we kind of had like a dream set up, and we were pedaling backward into a nightmare. I mean, we were in landfill when we first got started. We added the waiver of subrogation on, and we had an insurance company. We had no idea about how insurance really works, and our policy was about $9,000 a month. We had two trucks. Two trucks. Yeah, two trucks. And so, you know, we got new authority, 2 trucks.
And
We
land.
were asking, and landfill, right? And we were doing good as a company, but it was just that overhead was killing us, you know? And so, like I said, we pedaled backwards so bad. And we had a friend of ours that referred us to Jessica. We gave her a call, and she says she's an insurance agent, but she was like our consultant as well, you know? So she kind of, you know, guided us in the right way, got us with an amazing company. And I mean, she's just a game changer because she was able to help me feel informed. And I felt confident about the decisions that we were making. So every time we get ready to say, hey, you know, what do you think about this? She's the one I call first. I'm like, hey, is this going to be crazy on us? Or, you know, what do we need to do? And she answers those questions. Nobody else did that for us. So super thankful for her. Like I said, we dropped everything and we flew on down.
Rough number. How much do you pay now? You were paying $9,000 before a month. How much you paying now?
We are at 1670. Yeah.
I'll go ahead and brush my shoulders off
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Hey, I can't take credit for all of it, okay?
Yeah.
I cannot take credit for all of it because truly, if you guys wouldn't have taken care of your safety scores and your maintenance and you know, you were accident free, claim free, all of those things, it's all credit to you. That is the building block that gives the ability to me to get you into a good spot where you're at.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I agree.
If I could.
Go ahead.
Okay, in dealing with Jessica, she's more of a personal type of person. She's a people person. She makes you feel comfortable with asking questions. Like my wife said, whenever we get ready to make a decision, we call her first.
and she helps guide us in what we're doing. And you don't get that type of help from insurance at all. And there's no guideline or guidebook to trucking, but to have an insurance agent like Jessica is a real game changer.
It's the support that you should have. That's why I tell everybody, don't just shop for price, shop for a good agent, because a good agent is truly going to be that support piece that is that big of a building block of the success of your business, of your future, of your life. That's your livelihood.
And I just want to say $500.
$500?
Yeah, you know what $500 is? For $100 to cut out and edit that sweet promo.
We're live. There's no cut. There's no cut. You know, we got this other guy up. He's gonna give me another big clip.
Well, you have to wait.
All right.
Everyone knows Steve. Everyone knows him.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you saved
But
him a lot
nobody
of
knows.
money.
Oh, I did.
Everyone knows you saved Steve money.
They do.
We tell everybody
Oh.
all the time. We tell
How much did I save, Steve?
I don't know, like 6 grand.
Was it $6,000?
Saved him from a bad situation.
I
is
did
what
save him
heard.
from a bad situation. Yeah.
I think
That's what I try to do for everybody.
Jessica's like the brand, like you're coming into trucking, or even if you have an established business, Jessica's like the person to know. Even, she's introduced me to Steve as well. Amazing person. She's told me about you guys' podcast as well.
Yeah.
You guys seem amazing as well.
You got to watch it, man.
You got to.
You need a network.
You need it.
That's what we are. I mean, we
Absolutely.
met Jessica here at this place a year ago.
Yeah.
Like this.
And actually, hey, we'd love to have you on. It sounds like you got a great story.
Yeah.
They have a great story. I was happy to connect them. Who's your biggest supporter? Who has your, I'm going to say it because she's watching on the live screen or on the big screen at my house. Who has that on TV?
Teresa.
Teresa does, yes.
You got
Shout out to that.
really quick, or you can move on to, if you don't use Jessica from UCI Insurance, you might want to have your head examined.
Right.
When I told you that I was able to stay with the same exact insurance company, but yet she reviewed my mileage, my history, and literally saved me $6,000 on a renewal.
Attention to detail
Attention to detail
and
is
asking
what you
questions.
get with Jessica and UCI Insurance.
Yeah.
Can't say enough. And then connecting us with other carriers that we can work together and do some stuff with.
It's that support.
That's
And
all.
that network is what keeps you guys going. I want you to flourish. I want you to succeed.
Which I met Jessica through our fine folks at the Logistics Lounge. So thank you for connecting people.
There you go.
And thank you for what you
Absolutely.
guys do.
The lounge
The homie network is real.
It
You
is
guys-
real.
You guys are awesome.
So we try to do.
Friggin' A. All right. You got to hook us up. You got to hook us up with us, and we'll have you guys on our show.
Yeah,
Yeah,
love to
if
get
y'all
connected.
come and hang out, and we'll get y'all as guests for a night. We can just sit back and shoot the shit and hear about your journey and talk trucking.
Yeah.
Okay, that sounds
That'll
great.
be
Yeah,
amazing.
absolutely.
Friggin'
Thank
A.
you guys so
Thank you.
much for joining me on this. And they got a line here, as you can see.
I know.
There's some popular guys, and I'm glad to have it and glad to support you. And thanks for letting us chit chat a little bit.
Yeah, we'll send you the invoice.
You're at the show. The United Commercial Insurance booth is right behind us. My card's there.
Don't fight.
Thank you guys.
You guys.
Thank you. Y'all enjoy the rest of the show.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
All right, who's up next?
Never did. No. Thank you so much.
We got my buddy Mark Rupert on
right.
to come hang out with us. He was going to come on and be our guest next Friday, but
We're gonna go ahead and do it now.
yeah, I guess we're going to do it now.
Little sneak preview,
A
guys.
little sneak preview because he's having to you're gonna put the headphones on. Oh, very soon day.
Yeah, those are.
All right. Mark, how you doing, man?
Good. How you doing?
Man, I am doing all right, man.
This is a fun and exhausting show.
It is.
Yeah.
That's a good way to put it. I think we're about to beat that 37-mile mark from last year. I don't know, man.
I don't know. We very well made it.
I'm happy to be sitting in a chair for a little bit instead of standing in a booth.
And this is coming from a guy that runs ultra marathon. So
Boys, what's up? I was just about to say, Match is a marathon, not a sprint.
That's right.
Bring comfortable shoes. Bring water. You know, a lot of people crash and burn first day on this at this place for the first time.
True, man. Like I mean, what do we at? I can't even see. I'm at like 14,000 steps for the day.
My watch fat shamed the we swear it fat shamed the shit out of me this morning. I slapped it on and it did like the fireworks. And it's like, yo, you did 200% of your movement goal yesterday, and I was like, ah, damn it.
I go to the gym 5 days a week, and I haven't this week, but I'd rather be at the gym.
It is a lot, man. And then you add the people on top of it. You know what I mean? It makes it even. Oh man, it's definitely something. It lives on every one of your senses. You know what I mean? It really does. It really does. So, Mark, what's up, man? Why don't you tell everybody a little bit about who you are, what you do, man?
Great. Yeah, my name is Mark Rupert with Where is Expert, where we connect what matters. My past is I had an ELD company for years that I sold a couple years ago. Me and another partner sold it to a third partner. So I've been around the trucking business here for at least 10 years. And I'm a software consulting guy. It's sort of my background. Grew up in a blue collar family, so I kind of understood the whole trucking industry. But Where is Expert is a fleet management and fleet tracking company. We have AI dash cams. We have solar trackers for trailers, the trackers for the trucks. We can do 10 millisecond crash detection. And we have some really cool other products too. One of our trackers for the trailers can ping once a day, but most trackers that ping once a day, you don't hear from them again for 24 hours, but you can actually wake this one up and it lasts for 3 years. So it's a pretty impressive track.
So the excuse of fleets of like, where's my trailer? That's no longer a thing now.
No longer a thing.
Incredible. I started at Schneider back in 2007, and they would have bounties on their trailers. If you were down in Texas, you can make some easy money on the side by just going down any random street, and there's like, oh, there's a trailer, there's a trailer, there's a trailer. And yeah, they lose track of everything all the time because there's just so many fleets, so many trailers in their fleet.
Exactly. And if you're worried about someone stealing your trailer and pulling your tracker off, we also have a tracker that goes into the tail light.
Really?
Oh.
So you don't even know it's there. And it's in the tail light.
I'm guessing it's not in the tail lights. That's pretty amazing, man. Yeah, and like to Justin's point, like there's no reason today to not have any kind of solutions on your table for tracking, you know, like yeah. And TJ, if you're listening, that's to you, man. This man lost a trailer for 5 years.
Oh,
yeah, they found it a year ago, but hey, we found it.
They found it's impressive.
Yeah, so hey, so what got you into this, man? Like obviously there's got to be a reason for you to see a problem, you know, and like want to attack it.
Well, you know, it kind of started all back just prior to the ELD business. Me and my partner actually started off by building an application for the blue collar industry to track the work and just over an app.
Okay.
And then as we were doing that, the FMCSA came out with the rule for the electronic log. And we said, well, this can retrofit into that. And so we just kind of built it into that. And after did the ELD for a number of years, I kind of got tired of that business and said, but I really like this telematics stuff because it's really fun to be able to find stuff. And so I kind of just melted into that and stopped the ELD.
Were you paying attention to the FMCSA panel this morning?
Sorry, I did not hear that. No.
So apparently the they didn't send like a bigwig out there, but the rep that they had for the FMCSA at this panel did not know what a TWIC card was.
I heard about that. I heard about that. Like, yeah, that's something you just hold inside.
I'm glad I was there. I was just put them right off the stage. you're at the largest trucking convention in the country, and you just it's like the most basic thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's like what's a turn signal? I don't. Yeah. The guy's in charge.
Yeah. Well, so what y'all's focus here at Mid-America Truck Show this year? I mean, anything? Y'all just here hanging out or what?
So I'm in the Geometris booth. What are we at? 38416. They're one of my suppliers for the hardware.
Yeah.
They have the 10 millisecond crash detection. And pretty soon they're going to be coming out with, I have an AI dash cam, but they're going to have another one that I can use. It actually connects to the engine and does again, the 10 millisecond crash detection. So you don't need a dash cam until you have an accident. Then you realize you need a dash cam. We've all seen the videos of trucks or cars brake checking trucks because they think they're pretty smart, and you know the term for that. So they get in trouble. So I'm really talking to fleet, small or large, or single truckers that want a dash cam and tracking, because we can do IFTA too, and everybody needs to do their IFTA miles. Because a lot of guys have an ELD, but a lot of guys might not because they're local truckers, and so, or local fleets. So I'm just talking to drivers about them outfitted with the good safety equipment with dash cams and the tracking equipment.
Cool. Awesome. Mr. J-Mark.
Yo,
how
fellas.
are you, man?
Sorry for jumping the mic. I got a 9 milligrams Velo in, so I'm like,
No, jump in there. Good. How's the show been for you this year, man?
Great. It was supposed to just be like a chill vibe visit. I was just gonna hang and see the boys, and then Kevin Rutherford the other day asked me if I could help with his panel, and did the best I could. So I was tied up for the last 2 days, but today and tomorrow I'm a free man.
Free man.
Yes, sir.
Hanging out and enjoying it all.
Yeah. It sucked because everyone's asking, dude, where are you? And I tell them, like, I'm in this room. Come by and say hi.
Yeah.
So I'm good, but the events like this, it's so big, and you're meeting so many people. I tell people, try to have like a list and meet people when you can, because if you're just running around aimlessly, like, there's going to be so many people and so many things that you're going to miss out on.
Yeah.
Pick targets like for certain days, and hopefully you don't miss any.
100%.
And even then, it's still almost impossible. You get wrapped up in conversation after conversation.
Absolutely. Anyway, long time no see, boys. How's it been?
Dude, it's been the same as it has always been, man. Working on stuff. Obviously we've upgraded a little bit since last year, but it's been good. We're still running around like chickens with our heads cut off, but that's mad.
There's
for you.
there's a good energy to that too.
Oh yeah, 100%. But it's been a great couple days, man. I'm ready for tomorrow. When the real shit show goes down, man.
It's that you can tell, like, Friday and Saturday is when they open up the show to the public, and you could tell by, like, even today there are people who are just like, you're not making it tomorrow, man. You wore the wrong shoes. You're not hydrating enough. You're not gonna make it.
Sure, dude. I don't think people. You had said it. How about that earlier, yesterday? And people don't prepare for this thing about wearing the right shoes.
Yeah.
Like, you wouldn't think, oh man, I'm inside a building. Like, I probably should be drinking water, man. You better be drinking water.
Yeah.
You are easily going to do 10 miles inside this building.
When you go from the south wing to the west wing, and you go to like some of the bigger booths that have like a really cushiony carpeting where they're at, you're like, oh, I'm walking on heaven. You don't realize just how hard of an impact on your knees and feet this like hard concrete floor is until you're walking on the pillows over there.
And if you're in a booth, bring snacks.
Yeah.
Dude, amen to that.
Yeah, you're in a convention center. Food's not cheap. Prepare.
Heck yeah, but a slice of pizza is $8. You know what I mean? Yeah, a slice of pizza is $8. I think a beer is $8.
Yeah, no. I got my water, my canteen with me, and some Quest bars, and I'm good for the day.
I know that's right, dude. I know. Well, hey, we're gonna bring on our last guest here in a second. Before we do, y'all have anything you want to say before you get out of here, Mark? You want to give any plugs for yourself and the company?
Just stop by our booth at 386 38616, and it's the Geometrics booth, and come check out our products and outfit your fleet, and we'll do some discounts for the show too.
That's sweet. Awesome, man. We appreciate you coming on. What about you, J-Mark?
My expectations for the FMCSA were low, but I just did not realize how as I don't know if it was Trump or whoever, they're not sending their best.
Yeah,
I'll just leave it at that. Yeah. That's as polite as I can be right now.
Yeah.
They're not sending their best.
100%. Well, cool. We'll catch up. Are you going to the thing tonight?
Absolutely.
Forget it, bro.
9 o'clock?
Yep.
I'll
Yes,
see
we'll
you
see you
there.
there, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome,
Hey, appreciate you, fellas.
Thanks, guys.
Take care, guys.
All right. I think we're on our last guest.
We are. We are the Schmitz. The Schmitz. There we go. Thanks, Mark.
Background noises of Matt.
That's your Matt's holding.
Yeah.
Matt's holding.
All right. Can you hear?
Yeah.
All right. Make sure y'all speak nice and loud to the microphone. We can hear that white noise behind us.
Yeah, you can.
Well, hey, Lisa, how y'all been?
Busy.
Busy? What y'all been busy doing?
Running around the show. People want to know who I am. Here's your chance to meet me.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I guess to kind of bounce off of Justin's comments there, did y'all make it to the FMCSA meetings?
Yes.
One of them.
What are your thoughts?
So what we listened to when we were there, I didn't have a problem with. I think they're not going far enough as far as authentication to make sure people are who they say they are. I did question after the show, why are you not saving the data on their facial recognition? You know, they can change their name, they can do whatever. If you're not saving it, they can still do it.
Right.
And I said, then I'll have 10, 15 brokers. He said, well, there's no law that says they can't have more than one brokerage. He said, until Congress says you're only limited to one or two brokerages, we're not going to do anything.
What do y'all think about them taking away the MC numbers and just use the DOT? You think that's going to help with any of the problem?
I think it will in the end. But the problem is, if you're intrastate, you just run an MC rather than a DOT. So now you've got to differentiate that again. So I don't know. I didn't think of it. I heard one of the other guys say it. Somebody brought up the fact they need to have a twin card. I would go with that. They should have that.
Mm-hmm.
You're recognize who you are.
Yeah, I agree with that. We talked about that a lot of the show, and even maybe even going as far as having brokers get a twin card, like anyone in or around logistics, getting a twin card.
Yeah,
and doing that. And so I like that. Yeah, I don't know. As far as the MC DOT and everything, it seems like with everything that they come up with an idea, but it's like they take it to the 10-yard line and don't get it quite to the goal. Which you're not always going to think about everything, but I could just see there being, like you mentioned, the interstate thing and stuff. There being some issues with this and some problems, and so it's like you try to stop one problem and you kind of create another one by trying to deal with that too.
One thing that I've noticed today is they've had listening sessions all along through this process, and they actually are listening to people and the issues. So they've implemented a few changes to positive few of the things they wanted to do. I believe that Ken is one of the good guys at the FMCSA.
Right.
There's good people and bad people everywhere, including the FMCSA. And Ken has been helpful. I mean, he helps our people. If I've got someone that's got a problem, I connect him with Ken, and he takes care of it for me. That looks good for me and him.
That's just crazy to think that, in previous years that they would just get up there and talk at you, not talk with you. And you think that's what it should be, and to your point, Ken really is awesome. Boots on the ground. Like, he was that broken carrier son, and he's showing up to all these different events, whereas before, these people were just ghosts behind smoking mirrors. So,
Remember 2 years ago when my husband was at the microphone and he started asking him questions, Ken was the first one that I had one of the overdrive guys sit next to me and said, I about fell off my chair. He said, FMCSA does not interact.
That's why I'm not.
Well, it's definitely seeming like a slow move forward, but at least it seems like they are moving forward,
It's taken 25 years to get to this point. And when you're down here at the bottom and you got to work your way up.
Yeah. So,
I was gonna say, what did y'all think about the CSA administrator? Only lasting 2 weeks. So she was. We heard she came here to Matt's, and made her presence known. So what do y'all think about that? And what did she say? I didn't make it to her talk. Oh, cool. Oh, y'all got a picture.
Don't give it to me.
I'm not.
Sorry. Watch out for the camera. We're live.
Hey, he had a question.
He did have a question.
He got a beer in his hand. He might have another question.
He's got the best questions.
So Adrian Kamir, she made it a point to tell us it was more than 2 weeks. She had gotten her letter 2 months prior.
Yeah. She says, I'll show you the date. She says, I was there 2 months.
I give her a lot of credit for showing up here. I said, lady, you got balls, and I admire you. She's talking to anybody who wants to talk to her. And she talked to us for almost an hour.
Yeah, and I point blank said, you're going to get ridiculed. I said, you did that as a photo op. I said, you're no better than anybody else. She said, when I drove. I said, yeah, you did, but you stopped. You drove around the parking lot and that's it. Are you going to go further? She says, I actually might. She says, I might actually go and get my CDL. And I have a different opinion after I talked to her for an hour than I had before I talked to her. So
she actually does love the trucking industry. She just got in there and realized that there's so much that needs to be done.
Right.
And we've talked to other FMCSA people too. Now you guys know he put in his application to be the head of the FMCSA. So when she quit, we were like, yay, there's more chance, right? So they appointed Derek Mars now.
Mars.
So we'll see where that goes. He hasn't been confirmed yet. He may or may not. He may have quit in 2 months, 3 weeks, whatever. So we're continuing. We spoke to a few FMCSA people today, and they think it would be great to have a driver.
Yeah, they said a driver should be there. They actually thought that with this administration that would have been more of the lead where they were going. Because he said they wanted to change everything. So they were a little shocked. And what's the spread on how long the next guy lasts?
Exactly. That's what I was about to say. You got overtime. You got someone like you who's been pushing to get in that position for so long. You have so many people behind you. So, you have my full support in all of this. Everything that you've done. Both of you all together. I mean, it's honorable.
And it's not. If I get in that position, I'm gonna do stuff that's gonna tick people off.
Right.
But on the other hand, in the long run, it's going to be better for the industry as a whole.
Absolutely. And it's people that are going to take off are the ones that are going to get, axed in this whole operation.
Right.
So.
Right.
One of the reasons we wanted to talk to her and some other people, why is there a revolving door?
Exactly.
Why is no one staying? I mean, 21 people
21 to 25 years. Yeah, Derek makes 21. So even when Ray left, you don't get a chance to talk to any of these people after they leave. So here I saw her as first reaction is, why'd she leave? What are we not knowing about? What does nobody know? That was my original intention of going to her. Why did you leave? Am I overthinking this, or am I not thinking enough of what could happen here?
I mean, are there surprises there? We don't know.
Right.
It's like, are we going to get in there and, well, it doesn't look the way we thought. What are the surprises?
Pretty man. Well, guys, we just wanted to have y'all on and get you to talk more about the thing that we know y'all are so passionate about, which is trucking industry and trying to make change and everything. And so the industry needs more folks like y'all, folks who can be passionate, trying to advocate, and get out there and be seen, be heard, and trying to actually make a difference. We common topic on the show from everyone is, it's easy to complain and bitch about a situation, but very few people do anything, but you could complain about it. Well, where's your solution to it? Where are you trying to help fix the problem?
We're doers.
Yeah, exactly.
And that is one of my gripes. I love to get up before we end. You got in any sector of this trucking industry, they got a lot of media presence.
Yeah.
And they always get on and they'll complain about it. But when it comes to what we're trying to do, it's like, hey, do you back me? Will you put this out there? It's silence. It's like, why?
Then they
Use
would
your
have
platform. Yeah.
Yeah. And that makes you wonder, who are they really backing?
Yeah. But we're here. If anybody wants to meet us, we're still here another day.
Reach out to us on our socials, Facebook, TikTok, X, Trucking Across America. There is a change.org petition that everybody can sign and share to help push the into the head of the
Yeah, this is not over. Even if he does get appointed, like I said, how long is he going to last?
Yeah. Well, hopefully he'll be number 22 and we'll keep being there for a long time.
Mr. Hound, you got anything you want to say before we end it here?
Well, appreciate y'all. Appreciate everybody
Thank
for
you guys
watching.
very much for
Thank you,
having
Matt.
us.
If we're still at Matt's, we'll still be here tomorrow. Come check out Freight Ninja. Come check out the lounge. Come check out our friends from Freight Movement. people from UCI up here. That's about all I got, brother.
Sure. That's all I got. We'll be back tomorrow morning. Hopefully we will be able to make everything work and do our morning coffee show with Road Dog Coffee. So be on the lookout. We'll see y'all tomorrow morning. And you'll also, I think we're going to do something from the trailer bar tomorrow night if we can make that work. So be looking out for that one too. So we'll see everyone tomorrow for the final day match. As I always say, chuck them deuces, Mr. Hound, roll that beautiful beat. But
The views and opinions expressed on this show by its guests are not necessarily those of Lounge Media Group or the show host. So if you sue someone, make sure it's the party responsible for hurting your feelings. Also, grow up, be an adult, and understand not everyone thinks like you. And that's okay.